You're listening to DraftKings Network.
We all have that friend who wakes up early to go get everyone McDonald's breakfast, while the rest of us sleep in. This is your sign to thank them. And if you're that friend, this is us saying thank you.
Just a friendly reminder that right now, get any size iced coffee before 11 a.m. for just 99 cents. And a satisfying sausage McMuffin with egg is just $2.79. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Everyone is talking about magnesium. It's all you hear about. But why? What do we know about magnesium? Well, magnesium is the number one mineral that 75% of Americans are deficient in. If you are a woman over 35, magnesium will help you rediscover balance, energy, and vitality. Magnesium supports more than 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, including those involved in hormonal balance. From functional medicine doctors to mental well-being and female hormone experts, we all know that magnesium is the one mineral to improve all aspects of well-being and health. But which one? Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, the trusted choice recommended by leading experts with 7 best-absorbed forms of magnesium to ensure your body receives the support it needs for overall well-being. Go to bioptimizers.com/balance today and use code BALANCE10 for 10% off. Support your journey to wellness at bioptimizers.com/balance. Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, your foundation to optimal health and vitality.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
So, Stugotz, you were saying before you were kicked out of here?
I was saying he doesn't have to play for free. But, Dan, at this stage in his career, if LeBron is interested in chasing ghosts and trying to catch Michael Jordan in getting 6 NBA titles, the way you would do it is attach yourself to the team that is most desperate, the team that needs him the most, the team that is the closest but doesn't win this year. You attach yourself to that team and you say, hey, I'll play for the league minimum, therefore you can keep all these other pieces around me, and let's try to win 2 championships. That's all I'm saying. It's something to think about.
It's not, because LeBron has already said 10 years ago, I'm never again playing for anything less than the max.
That was before Bronny. If he can now get Bronny to join him in Cleveland, he plays for the minimum, builds a super team around him, gets Bronny 2 rings in the process. Now you're talking about hanging Bronny's jersey up in the rafters.
Yep.
2-time champion?
I mean,
how many Cleveland Cavaliers are 2-time champions?
I mean, one of the teams
Zero.
that fit the bill would be the Miami Heat potentially, but they didn't want LeBron doing things in the prime of his career. They wouldn't give him certain privileges. Would they use a draft pick on his son?
I'll tell you what, if I'm LeBron, I would make the tour. Tonight, I sit front row at the Mecca. That's what I do. Yeah.
I will tell you guys this story. I don't think it's public. So you guys take this under advisement, because I really don't know how many different things Dan Gilbert did for LeBron. But when LeBron and his group got to Miami, they had to be told, no, you cannot start with more than 1,000 season tickets. We're not doing it that way. We can't do it that way. But there were a lot of asks. There were
That's insane.
A great many
1,000 season tickets?
With Game Time, you don't need any season tickets.
Promo code DAN. Flash deals. They should have signed up using your name, Dan.
I am going, I have to stop here, because that is something that was spoken about in those circles, but I did not verify that as the number. So 1,000 might have been something that the 1,000 might not have been 1,000. They just asked for a bunch of season tickets and were told they could not have that many season tickets. Don't hold me.
You're
Don't hold
good,
me,
man. Don't worry about it.
It's like saying 1 million. Like, yeah,
Probably
could I have 1 million
100.
tickets? I'm going to ask for 1 million tickets like this. It's just a large number.
Yeah.
You don't know.
We get it.
I would
Probably
love to
100.
know what it is that the Cavs might offer him in order to get him back, because he can make a lot of different asks.
Was JB Bickerstaff coaching for his job last night?
Mm-hmm. Do you think? Were those players auditioning for LeBron James?
Charlotte Wilder is here. You can hear her basketball expertise with Amin El-Hassan on Oddball every day except for Monday. Thank you, Charlotte, for joining us. Before you came on with us, they were criticizing both Jason Tatum and how sluggish the Celtics looked. I would say to them, road playoff games are hard to win, and the Celtics seem to do it pretty easily again and again. But you have to be very enthused about what is the easiest run to the Eastern Conference finals and the easiest run to the finals that we've ever seen.
I mean, first of all, hey guys, long time listener.
First time, long time.
Well done. Well done. Well, very efficient, Charlotte.
Thank you so much. Yeah, look, okay, the Celtics. Here's my thing. I don't know if I'm broken inside or if I still have some trauma unresolved from last year when they totally screwed everything up, but I'm not getting a lot of joy from this. I think part of it, like, it's either a blowout win or a blowout loss. What I liked about last night was that the Cavs went up. The Celtics were like, oh, I guess we should do something. They were rebounding. They were playing defense. They didn't just give up and be like, oh, well, we'll get them next time and then blow them out of the water the next time. It was actually like there was a little tension there. That was good. They did it. But also, like, they're supposed to do it. So it's sort of like, what am I like? I'm having a total come apart because I'm like, it's not that much fun, but I'm such a loser if I'm like, oh, they're winning, but not the way I want them to, and it's not fun. But also, like, the vibes are off. Something's weird. I don't know. Help somebody, help me. Like, help me.
Playoff series are not fun when you're a huge favorite. I think that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah. I disagree. That's ridiculous.
Because anytime anything goes wrong, it's like, this shouldn't be happening. You're the huge favorite.
But wait a minute.
And then if you win big, it's like, you should have done this.
Right.
No, but I want to be a huge favorite. There's nothing better than knowing your team's great.
Yeah, but the only way you win is by winning. Anything short of that
correct.
is right.
But that's what the standard should be.
I know, but it's kind of boring. I mean, they're expected to win, and they're doing so in boring fashion.
I would disagree on a couple of fronts. One of them is this where the standard is? The Celtics have now lost twice in the postseason. Has anyone lost less than that? Has anyone in the postseason lost less than that? I'll give you hockey, too. Has anyone lost less than,
the Rangers just
two
tied
times?
The Rangers just had their second loss.
Folks, I'm hearing the statistics are in, and the statistics bureau in my head have no idea, Dan. I have absolutely no idea.
Charlotte, you're a professional speaker. What is happening with your speech this morning?
The Celtics are happening to my speech because I'm having a lot of trouble. Thank you, Stu. I'm having a lot of trouble articulating what is going on here because, like, in Jason Tatum's post-game press conference, he was like, well, you know, we knew Mitchell was out, which when your star's out, it means that the other players are going to play really good. They're going to have a lot more freedom. And I'm like, no, when their star is out, it means that they're going to be less good because they don't have Donovan Mitchell. And then Tatum was saying, like, oh, we're not a super team. Own it. Be like, yeah, we're really good. We're really good, and it's super fun. I mean, I feel like the people who are having fun most this season, like Porzingis was having a blast. Because if you go from having a career year with the Wizards and then suddenly you're in Boston and Boston's happy to have you, that's awesome. Drew Holiday was like, oh man, I avoided that mess over there in Milwaukee, but now I'm here. And Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are like, we have been ruined by Boston media, by Boston fans, by the expectations. And so they're just sort of slogging through because that's what they have to do, because I think Boston sort of breaks you in some way anyway. Because we're New Englanders, and that's how it goes, Stan. That's how it goes.
You break people.
Are you broken? Are you broken by what it is the Panthers have done to your Bruins, or do you not really care that way over there? Basketball's your thing, and it doesn't hurt the same way in hockey.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't really hurt the same. I'm watching so much basketball, Dan. Like, I have dreams that I'm like in a clutch situation. I like the basketball. I'm like on the bench. I'm like in the locker room. I'm not really. I'm mostly just watching it, but it's really all consuming. And I only have so much sports pain or energy that I can expend right now.
Please tell me these dreams are real and you weren't making that up. And I want to hear what the result is of you in the clutch in your dreams.
I was not expecting to be called out in that moment because I feel like I had a dream about it last night, but I couldn't quite tell you. So I was going to just sort of roll. I can make one up. I can make one up if you want.
Go ahead. It would have been better if you had just done it without telling us you were making it up. That's one of the keys.
Can I try again? Can I try again?
No. No.
The Panthers, Rangers, Thunder, T-Wolves among the teams that have lost twice.
Yep. Charlotte, you're doing that thing that Bill Simmons does all the time, the misery, the losing, all that stuff. No one has had a better 2-decade run. No city in the history of American sports has had a better 2-decade run than Boston. Enough. Please, stop it.
Okay, first of all, I am not doing the thing Bill Simmons does. I did not say that the WNBA players, that team should be called W whatever. I'm not doing too much misery. I'm doing confusion. I'm doing why isn't this more fun? I'm doing something's broken in me if I'm not, loving this. I am loving this, but also like, I don't know, Stu, look at your Knicks. Your Knicks are they're gritty, they're tough. It's like adversity. If they don't make it, that's okay because their pets' heads are falling off. And the Celtics, it's like most people are healthy and they're playing well, and that's fun. So, but it's not, and I don't know why.
I think to Charlotte's point, being a fan of the favored team is a lot of pressure, and it makes you overreact to everything negative. When the Panthers lost Game 1 to the Bruins, there was panic down here.
No, there wasn't.
Yes,
Roy
there
wasn't scared.
No,
it's the most confident I've ever seen Roy. I got to be honest.
We were winning in 5.
Okay, did you look at Reddit?
No.
Yeah, I get Reddit.
Yeah.
He gets it mailed to his house.
It's an app, right? I don't know. No, but believe me, the reaction was such that there's not moderation. You got to learn to moderate. It doesn't come naturally.
Here's the thing, Dan. Can I give an analogy, please?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. So when I talk on this show, a lot of times, sometimes I fumble over what I'm saying. You could say that I'm a mastermind because the bar is so low that when I make a coherent point and make my way through it, everyone's like, "Oh God, she did it." If I were just had bars left and right all the time, like the pressure would be too much. The Celtics, they're good at talking in a basketball way.
I really don't understand what you're doing in general. I don't know a lot of fans who would prefer to go into a series as the underdog instead of the favorite. You want to have the best team because you want to have the best chance of winning. It doesn't make any sense to me that expectations would spook you.
But with Michael Jordan, the Bulls knew they were going to win. This is different, Dan. This is a team that, yes, they're favored to win, but as a fan, you're not certain they're quite good enough to win.
Yes, thank you, Stu. This is a team that has, over the past 6 years, I don't know, what's 2018?
Are you doing a bit? What is happening right now?
She cannot speak. She's just...
This is what this team has done to me. This is what this team has done to me. Listen, they have gotten so close so many times, and then they lose. So I'm like, I don't know, even though it looks like they should, and then they probably will, and then it'll be great.
I get it.
I think you're right. And the example I would use is that Jason Tatum is famous for nothing more than not winning. So, therefore, based on the recent past, you don't expect him to win.
I don't think either of those. I don't think
my dad has had some doozies today.
I don't think either of those things are true. I don't know. I know it feels like
this is all making sense.
Where's Ashton?
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you, Billy.
Yes,
I'm trying. You know what I'm trying to do?
That's not the ally you want, Charlotte. You don't want him as an ally. He roots against the show.
The faces she's making, something's up.
He's winning right now.
Okay, guys, I am trying to be honest. I am trying to give you honesty in a way that would it be smarter to be like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm a cocky Boston fan. I love it. We're going to win. You guys all suck. Maybe, but I'm trying to be honest about what's in my heart and work through this because I thought, forgive me. I thought this was a safe space for feelings.
Yeah.
They are for well-spoken feelings. This is not a safe space for misspeaking. This is not that.
Come on.
You know what I always say, Dan? Honesty is the best policy.
Thank you, Stugotz. LeBron James getting a bottle of wine into the arena last night, placing it under his seat. I don't think there are a lot of human beings who would be allowed to do that.
This I can actually speak very coherently on if you would like some insight.
I would.
Okay, first of all, the coffee cup with the lid, brilliant. If anyone's ever brought wine into a theater, first of all, if you're LeBron, you can bring the bottle in. If you're trying to do it as a lay person, you have to bring it in an Nalgene or some sort of water bottle that is opaque, so you can't see into it. Also, very funny to me that LeBron James shows up and he's like, sitting off to the side as if to say, "Oh, no, like don't look at me. I'm simply off to the side." But he's still courtside. And what is he doing? Like does he miss playoff attention? Because I feel like bringing a bottle of wine and a coffee cup into a stadium is a really good way to have people be like, that man's going through something.
Do you think he brought the bottle of wine in and asked what the corkage fee was? I think he bought this there.
No,
you can't buy a bottle of wine in an arena, can you?
You can't bring a bottle of wine into an arena.
You can if you're LeBron, I would assume.
Well, then I would assume
that's
that
like
you
a
can buy one if you're
$500 bottle of wine, I think.
Maybe
that's LeBron's not drinking like,
You don't think he ordered a bottle of Josh?
Cab.
I think he has a wine locker there.
Maybe he snuck it in.
Is he a cab man or a Pinot Noir? What do we got him for?
What year is your Josh?
Pinot Noir?
The Cleveland
Pinot Noir.
Caberniers.
Oh, God.
I liked it.
That's good.
I tried.
Damn,
No, it's
why
good.
didn't
You
I
say.
think of that?
You say.
Bad allies. Just bad allies.
Apologize.
Greg Cody has, he likes them the worse the better. It's the Jeremy Taché memorial joke. Give us last thoughts, please, before you get out on the WNBA season opening tonight. What is it that you're excited about? It's not going to be Caitlin Clark all the time, is it?
No, it's going to be Camila Cardozo. Although I think she might be a little hurt.
She's hurt, yeah.
Yeah, but she'll be better. She'll be better eventually. It's so hard to go from college right into the WNBA. I mean, it's Angel Reese. There is so much to be excited for. It's Nika Mule in Seattle, picking up the Sue Bird mantle. Like, there's so much to look forward to. And also, in terms of Caitlin Clark, I'm very excited to watch everybody who's already in the NBA be like, "Oh, you thought?" and just give her a very hard time. So I think the whole thing is so exciting, and I can't wait to see what happens, guys.
Way to nail the dismount there at the end, Charlotte. Just a total disaster of an appearance.
She just named like 3 players that I would have named.
Then she stumbled over the finish line.
I don't.
Like,
this was a bit.
You want my Celtics pain, and then you want something coherent in the last 30 seconds. Okay, it's my fault, Dan. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oddball every day but Monday.
Drug testing.
You will get coherent thoughts there, unlike on our show. Thank you, Charlotte Wilder.
Thanks, guys.
Howdy, listeners. It's Mike, and a lot has changed over the years. Just look at sports. There's instant replay, a 3-point line, there were shifts and then not shifts. But one thing that hasn't changed over the course of all those things I just mentioned, the great taste of Miller Lite. That's right. It's so good. And it's also less filling. So what's the best thing about Miller Lite, the original light beer? Well, Miller Lite sparked this debate way back in 1975. We still haven't settled it. Be like me. I don't pick one. I like it because it's both. Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality. Great taste. Only 96 calories. It's a beer that strips away everything that you don't need and holds on to what matters most. You don't have to choose what's best. Be like me. Say both. Miller Lite. Great taste. And is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs and premium regular beer.
Don Batard.
And it was the number one show in the land because the big star of this show was a man who was cool because he wore a leather jacket.
The Foz.
Hey.
The Franz?
Fonz. The German version, the Franz.
Stugotz.
I did not think she could do better than the Foz, which was her initial offering.
Wait.
But then it became the French television show Happy Days.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Me maximum. Me maximum. Me maximum. Yeah! Greg is king and you're his peasants. Me maximum. Yeah! My way is the only way, yeah. If we share a hotel room, you know who you answer to. Me maximum. You! My comfort is of most importance. Me maximum. You! Say it again so they can hear it in the back, yeah! When you are the patriarch, no one else's feelings matter. Maxima. And you know it. Maxima. Pride of a lion. Maxima. Boat shoes. Maxima. Miller Lite. Maxima. In my garage. Maxima. All night. Maxima. Falling down. Getting hurt. That kind of thing. Yeah!
The criticism from yesterday is unrelenting. I could say that every day. And one of the comments is Dan is acting like he has never seen a damn half-court shot in an NBA game before today. SMH. I want to hear from the audience all the shots that you believe have a greater degree of difficulty in the history of the sport than Jamal Murray beating the shot clock and avoiding a defender and not going out of bounds and making it the 8th point in 20 seconds, 6th, 7th, and 8th point in 20 seconds at the end of a half.
I gave you 5 Jordan shots alone yesterday.
Yeah, there are none is the answer. There are
I mentioned
none.
a game of horse I played.
Yep.
Yes, you did, because again, you are someone who roots against the show. You actively you actively put it on the poll. Does Billy actively try to destroy the show every day? I want to ask Chris and Mike and Roy the following question. If I had told you 3 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, when you guys were so loud complaining about Barkov and Bobrovsky, that Bobrovsky was a bad contract, a terrible contract that could not be moved. If I had told you then, hey, Barkov would be at the center of everything that's happening with one of the most championship-worthy teams in the history of South Florida sports, and also on ESPN.com, the headline is going to be Exploring the Legend of Playoff Bob. What would you guys have said to me? Because it was so loud around here about what disappointments both those guys were. And if I asked you who's more of a disappointment, I don't know who you would have voted for, because that Bobrovsky contract seemed like an anchor that was going to ruin the franchise.
Well, Aleksander Barkov, I thought he was going to end up turning it around, especially defensively. But now he's found his offensive game. Now he's better. Sergei Bobrovsky, he would have played up to his contract eventually. Now, Ekblad, however...
Roy, what do you mean he would have played up to his contract eventually? There was no hope, but you guys were telling me.
We were calling for Spencer Knight, bud.
You guys were telling me.
We were calling for Alex Lyon last year because Alex Lyon had the run that got them into the postseason. Bobrovsky's had an incredible turnaround, and now he's finally started playing up to that contract. But to have the foresight of that even last year at the start of the playoffs, or even last year down 3-1 against the Boston Bruins, I think that's kind of facetious. We all had our doubts about Bob. I'm still kind of low-key a little scared. It's just what's happening in front of him is so damn good right now that you're not asking him to be all-world, and occasionally he'll be all-world for you. So he's been great. Dan, I understand, especially with Barkov, when you talk about these players, you always circle back to what it was like 2 years ago when they won the President's Trophy, and they both kind of laid an egg in the postseason. Lots happened since then. A lot. Barkey was always the more likely to bust out of it because, look, this year, Stolarz had the better goals against average and save percentage on this team even this year. But Barkov is a tremendous player, and the reason why we were complaining so loudly 2 years ago is because we've always known he had this in him.
But Bobrovsky got that money, at least in part, because everybody here believed he was worth that money.
Because it was what was plaguing them after Luongo, is they had some teams that could actually threaten. And you had a two-time Vezina winner available on the open market, a guy that had actually just swept a record then at the time, record-setting Tampa Bay Lightning team. Bobrovsky came in. All this guy has to do is do exactly what he did in Columbus, and you're talking about a Stanley Cup potential type team. And to his credit, he did kind of legitimize them immediately despite not playing up to an expected level. That says more about the career he's had than his own talent.
Well, I had faith in him last season during the regular season, but Alex Lyon did lead us to the playoffs then, and then now we got Sergei Bobrovsky, what we have now. But this playoff season, he hasn't really played up to his standards. It's the Panthers' defense in front of him that's really built him out a lot.
And you mentioned
not allowing shots.
And you mentioned Ekblad. Look, we're speaking into microphones, and we're going to swing with the results of the games, and 2 years ago with the results of the series. But we were all very hard on Aaron Ekblad after Game 1. He had arguably his worst game as a Florida Panther. A terrible time to have it. Since then, he's been terrific. He's been everything that Paul Maurice assured us he would be. after he calmed everybody down with the press conference, which I don't know if you're watching, and I'm a super fan, the way that Paul Maurice is handling these press conferences lately is basically appointment television.
He's had the biggest glow up, I think, on this roster. I mean, obviously Reinhardt's having a career year, but man, that's the person we flipped on the most probably.
If you want to hold us accountable for our Panthers takes over the last 2 years, Zaslow openly calling Paul Maurice the murderer of fun.
Yeah.
I had to announce that I had deleted my Paul Maurice tweets because it looked like they had a team that went from President's Trophy good to a team that was going to miss the playoffs, and thankfully Alex Lyon got hot, and they had a little bit of luck, and they got into the playoffs, and then they started playing the type of hockey that Paul Maurice was trying desperately an entire season, almost to their detriment, to try to get them to play. So by the time the playoffs rolled around last year, they hit the ground running.
There was criticism of the Maurice hire, as I recall it. To hire Maurice, they didn't re-sign the guy who had just won the Coach of the Year award.
Andrew Brunette.
Yeah, and Paul Maurice is number one in all-time losses of any NHL coach. So, you don't rehire the Coach of the Year to hire the biggest loser, quote-unquote, of all time. Yeah, there was some initial doubt about the hiring of Paul Maurice.
In Zito we trust.
Man, has he proved himself.
If we're taking inventory of all our bad hockey takes, let me apologize to the Vancouver Canucks and Rick Tocchet. I was not familiar with your game. Did not think you could totally change your identity and have your superstars start eating pucks. Credit to you. But also, Dan, you got to walk one back too, brother. Yeah. You said you didn't see a talent disparity between these two teams. You got Morgan Geekie out there on the first line.
What I said was what in the results shows you a talent disparity over the last 2 years.
What results? It, like 4 games, 3 of which went to overtime? This is not... Boston, the first intermission of Game 2, Paul Maurice essentially told his guys, these guys don't have anything. We're giving them all their quality chances. Just be disciplined with the puck because they're going to play anti-hockey and hope against hope that you're going to give them their quality chances because they have zero creativity there. They got Pastrnak, who we all respect, but they got no one else creating for that team. There is not a lot of talent on that team. It's a miracle they have the regular season that they did, and they're showing you exactly who they are. This Montgomery has no moves.
Lundell would be a top liner for them.
The difference is depth. Florida's fourth line has been their best line at times. The fourth line has been terrific.
They're so deep. Oposo's been like a first liner in this league.
Lomberg can't get on the ice right now. He was sick the first series. He's healthy now and just can't get on the ice.
Right. Nick Cousins, they benched. When
He's
Bennett
always
came
been
back.
meh.
Let me ask you guys a couple of questions here about the playoffs in general because Connor McDavid has sort of disappeared since Game 1. But I wanted to talk about the Val Nichushkin story, Stugotz, because I don't know how many 100-point teams were there in the league this year.
This year was higher than normal.
9 or 10. 9 or 10.
Lot.
There are 9 or 10 100-point teams in the NHL, great teams, and I think any 100-point team, if I get it into the playoffs, that's a team that has a chance to win the championship. You're talking about a third of the league, I think, roughly.
10 teams at it.
Okay, so it's 10 teams, and Nichushkin is the most important player on Colorado.
He led the playoffs in goals.
Well, I'm not sure because
McKinnon and Makar are more important than Nichushkin, but Nichushkin had things gone the way that things were looking, they were going for Val Nichushkin and the Colorado Avalanche. He might have been the Conn Smythe winner. He led the team in goals. He was incredible, two-way incredible player. But now the second straight playoffs for the Colorado Avalanche. This is a former champion that Nichushkin has not been available to them. He had a questionable incident that happened in a Seattle hotel room with a woman that was found there that was in really rough shape, and all of a sudden he doesn't play for the remainder of that Seattle series, a series that they end up getting upset in. Fast forward another postseason, great. Nichushkin, he's a demon on the ice. He's incredible. Two-way player, scoring goals left and right. He's essentially become our number one winger next to Nathan McKinnon. He's been marvelous. And then you hear right before puck drop that he has failed the drug test and won't be available for 6 months.
At least.
He can apply for reinstatement 6 months from now. His nameplate was removed from the locker room. His teammates, if you go by Jack Johnson's quotes, are done with him. This is the second straight postseason where his behavior off the ice has let them down.
And he was in the player assistance program back in January, so this drug test pretty much is bad for him. This is bad.
It was bad for Mike as well because I took the Stars last night after Mike texted me about this news, and Mike was broken because he had a bunch of futures on the Lanch.
I was already locked in on props. I mean, the team's toast now. The team is
done. Yes.
toast without Nichushkin.
Let me talk about something here, though, because this is a super rare suspension. It's not just the timing, it's the amount of time. This suggests a serious problem. And teammates being done with him, I understand, but whenever a suspension of something like this lands, I remember Chris Birdman Anderson was suspended for a long time, where it's not just marijuana. There's something else here when the suspensions go this long and the behavior is so out of control. Keep in mind, hockey players are notorious for partying. Like, the lifestyle runs hard. Like, there's a lot of pain in that sport, and there's a lot of self-medicating in that sport. So for you to be out of control by the standards of hockey immediately makes me say, oh, that man does not have control of his life. And his teammates landing on him with, we're done with that, while totally understandable, isn't what an addict needs.
Oh, very, very clearly what he needs is treatment, and he's going to get that because the league legislates that, Dan. But if you're a Colorado Avalanche player, this guy was making up for doing this to you last year with his performance on the ice. And for him to do it again, I can totally understand. Families have addicts in their family dynamics, and people get cut off, and it's very personal. These guys are making sacrifices. They're taking 200-mile-per-hour pucks off their shin bones. And for Val Nichushkin to decide now's the time to party when he did this to us last year, I can understand why there's resentment there.
I know, but
he can't control when he parties.
That is correct. Like, that's the illness. He doesn't want to be disappointed.
Very clearly, there is also other people that can.
Understood. But this addiction would appear to be worse than most because you don't see this very often. Never mind in the postseason, you don't see this length of suspension in sports very often where it's like, well, maybe he can come back in at least 6 months, but get out of here. And whenever someone's that out of control, I understand why all of the anger would surround him, but I also understand why it would birth general misunderstanding of addiction. Like when the family member comes into the house and steals from their parents' jewelry box to take stuff that needs to be pawned because the desperation is such that the need for the high is greater than anything sports is giving you, even if you're playing it at that level as well as that guy is playing it. And even if the consequence is, you know, your teammates are going to be heartbroken, you clearly don't have control over the sickness that grabs you and is a dragon in your life that eats up everything else.
Oh my gosh. Folks, gather around. Everyone gather around. Listen to these words. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and so is the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. With same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more, don't miss out as the NBA postseason winds down. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers, listen to me. You bet just $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code DAN. That's code DAN for new customers, and you get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. That's insane. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/bball for eligibility, deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Don Le Batard.
And then Matt Stafford threw him 25 and 2. Oh, there's a brand new kid in town out of BYU.
Stugotz.
They call him Puka. Puka Nakua. His quarterback is not named Tua. Yeah, he is Puka. Puka Nakua.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
You mentioned earlier, Greg Cody, Andrew Brunette, the former coach of the Panthers, coach of the year, and every time someone mentions that name for me, I do a word association with that golf cart DUI that had a certain drunken smugness in it as he talked to the authorities. And I can't I can't forget this, even though I, too, would be really annoyed. I believe I'd be annoyed and arrogant, too, if I was driving around in a golf cart and somebody arrested me for DUI. I wouldn't feel... This happened to Bill Murray one time in England. Stugotz, how deep into your mouth is that sausage finger going to go on
It's
television?
a piece of bacon. It's just sticking right there, like right in between my two teeth. It's hard to get out. I finally got it out. You want to see it?
Charges were dropped against Andrew Brunette.
Yeah, but let's play the video anyway.
You know, I coached the Florida Panthers.
Sorry?
The Florida Panthers, I was coaching.
Yeah?
Yeah, you don't care.
No.
I know you don't.
No disrespect.
2 years ago was a different time.
It really was.
Now you can get off the case.
If I had been right there next to the golf cart and I had just looked into that camera and said, "Hey, Mike, so Barkov is going to go through 3 defenders to go up 3-1 on Boston, and also the legend of playoff Bob is going to be what greets me."
Bob's nominated for another Vezina.
You would have said I was drinking.
Ekblad's definitely off the team at that point.
Yeah. All the Ekblad takes are right, though.
Andrew Brunette, by the way, has coached the Predators to the playoffs this season, so good on him.
Right, good recovery.
Yep.
Thank you, Roy.
Good on him.
Thank you for giving him his flowers.
Thank you, Roy.
He deserves it after you.
No,
tried
it
to
was
embarrass him
unfair
there.
what Dan did, and you were giving him his flowers.
What do you mean?
He squeaked in as an 8 seed.
Charges were dropped and we're replaying.
Had one of the worst
laughing.
hockey series I've ever seen against the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah. But at least you made it.
Why are we defending Andrew
What
Brunette?
was unfair about a golf cart DUI? Me just playing it.
Charges were dropped.
I know, but listen, that video and that audio was him saying
He seemed composed.
He was trying to. Yes, he does. He seems fine. He was trying to get out of it by saying, "I'm the Florida Panthers coach." And do you realize how little value that had in this market 2 years ago?
No disrespect, though.
Now you can get away with anything.
Anything.
Dan, I want to play a game called Closing the Loop.
Good work there, Chris Cody.
Spo
Excellent
gets
work.
away with that 2 years ago. Spo gets away with it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he gets away with it.
What?
Spo?
Yeah.
Is it a golf cart? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he coaching the Panthers?
Yeah.
Put it on the poll, please, at Batard Show. Would Eric Spoelstra get away with a golf cart DUI in Miami? Riley certainly would.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I haven't had the ability to laugh at the Boston Bruins' expense, but I have been following the show. I know that Katie's been on a couple of times, and I'm really upset with this show perpetuating this media narrative that's out there, talking about everything other than the Boston Bruins getting their ass kicked. Because that's what's happening right now. You have a team that is incapable of playing with the Florida Panthers. So what do they try to do? The only thing that they could, muck it up. Florida Panthers beating them at that game, too. They're better at them across the board, including with the head coach. And the fact that everyone's boiling this down to a rapid punch that, yeah, Sam Bennett, he probably got an extra shot in there. And was it interference? If you ask me, yeah, sure. I actually wish that they called it interference because the Panthers would have just did what they ended up doing, which is score again. The Panthers are so much better than this team. This is not decided by an interference call. This is not decided, of all people to defend Brad Marchand. Get out of here with that. I mean, no, this is not a close series.
How many times has Marchand been suspended? Because I did delight in seeing Sam Bennett in Boston registering as public enemy number 1. You guys weren't sure he was going to play in this series. They would have missed him.
He's got them going crazy. Dude, a Barstool guy wrote 3,000 words on a rabbit punch as if he's like a pugilist. Like, you think Sam Bennett has enough power in that hand? Actually, I think that Brad Marchand hurt himself trying to hit monster number 2 and Kevin Stenlund. He got up a little woozy after that. And I think Sam Bennett just finished the job when he realized Marchand's coming in here all loopy, missing this hit. I'm going to brace, and I'll get me a piece.
I count 8 suspensions.
Yeah, 8 suspensions, total of 28 games.
Brad Marchand licked a dude on the face once. Like
hockey player.
Yeah, he's the Rat King.
It is crazy that because everyone except Roy kind of agrees the Panthers got away with a call there. Like that was we got lucky there.
Yeah. Roy's an unusual cat because Roy when Mike was talking about what he was talking about, Roy said in my ear, he said, "I already said all of that yesterday," and Roy also said earlier in the show, "I knew Bobrovsky was going to be this,"
That's
which
crazy.
is just a lie. Like it's
not a lie.
I'm
not lying.
It's a flat. You didn't say it. You did not say it to anyone publicly, privately. That is not an opinion that you expressed anywhere.
Well, I'm a quiet person, so
Yeah, that's right.
I am enjoying
Totally
Roy's
fair,
like Magic Johnson turn on Twitter again during the postseason.
Right. I'm not going to change for anything. So.
Yeah. I know, just copy-pasting the press release by also adding Nichushkin out for a while. Helpful.
Is Marchand, we'll close
thank you for that, Mike. I really appreciate that. Thanks for the support.
Not as much as I thank you for Panthers score.
We close the loop in a second. But Marchand is, they actually call him Rat, right? Like
yeah, he's Rat. There's a couple of Rat Kings in this series. Brad Marchand and Matthew Tkachuk, too, who also... They had gripes like, Matthew Tkachuk got an extra shot in on Pastrnak on the ice. Not a fighter. He did. But this is what they were looking to do in Game 2. And then the Florida Panthers responded in kind, have also been the more disciplined team. So, yeah, go into the penalty box and cost your team. You guys can't play with them 5v5. So you like your chances 5v4? It's just been dumb. I don't know what to make of Jim Montgomery because you have to look at the talent that they have on the ice. They lost Krejci, they lost Bergeron, and they had a better season than even last year. And they entered this playoff series second round. Granted, they got through a depleted Toronto Maple Leafs team and just a total shit show of a franchise. But they come in here, and you really see they're super overmatched. But then Jim Montgomery's doing every wrong thing he could possibly do to hurt their team's chances. So I don't know whether to give him credit or damn him to hell.
Well, no. He's giving them motivation. That's what he's doing.
You can't trust,
you know the series is over.
You can't trust the guy that always has his hands in his pockets. What's that guy doing? Even when he's mad at the refs, he's always got his hands in his pockets.
Put it on the poll, Choo-Choo. Can you trust a guy who's always got his hands in his pocket? Mm-hmm. Billy, close the loop for me.
To close the loop slightly on this, Tyson Fury's dad, John Fury, in 2011 was found guilty and sentenced to 11 years because he left the victim half blind. A 12-year dispute erupted in violence at a car auction in 2010. While Fury was getting the victim in a headlock, he forced his finger into the victim's eyes. He was released from prison in 2015.
Eye gouging?
So only one time?
I mean, he was in prison for a little bit. That cuts into his times that he could get arrested.
Car auction's a really weird place for a fight.
Billy, keep looking. I bet you there's more than one.
Can I really do this? It's what everyone asks at every new stage of life. Sandy Spring Bank has you covered with personalized solutions to buy a house or improve the one you've got, or to grow your business, because that helps our community grow. We'll show you how to save more for the future, wherever it brings you. What's your next financial destination? Sandy Spring Bank. Visit sandyspringbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 406382.